So I know everybody's heard about the Ku Klux Klan before, and you probably think about the typical narrative of hillbilly white dudes, country bumpkins wearing sheets over their heads with holes cut out. That is Ku Klux Klan mythology. But the best way to explain clannishness is that it is a movement. It was a living ideology that blossomed among Southern men and women who wanted to preserve racial hierarchy. It wasn't a specific group that you had to join. One could be clannish, and local people got together and embraced this kind of clannish ideology right here in Pilot Point and all throughout Denton County. In the late 1890s, there was a thriving black community here in Pilot Point. A lot of black folks came here from Dallas after they were freed. And then a lot of people went to the areas outside of Denton and formed Quakertown. The area here didn't have an official settlement name, though there was St. John's community just south of here. That cemetery still exists today, though it's not taken care of by local authorities. And there's an abundance of primary historical evidence to show that as late as, or as early as the 1880s, clannish activity, for an example, there was a large group of black people building a community here, and the local white men got together and erected signs in the middle of the street that said, quote, unquote, Negroes, not the word they used. Get out and don't be here by the time the sun goes down. Signed yours truly, white cappers, which in the time was a clear reference to the Klan. So anybody who tries to tell you that the Klan didn't operate here in the Reconstruction era, they're lying. There's an abundance of evidence to show that black people were enslaved here long beyond the emancipation. I know we celebrate Juneteenth as a day where black people were informed that they had been freed by the Emancipation Proclamation, but young children and women especially were held in bondage for decades after the Civil War, right here, by mayors, by city councilmen, by sheriffs, by doctors. So this is the kind of standard that was set after the Civil War. And during the late 1800s is when this building right here was built. This concrete building that you see over here to the side with the metal grate window. There's an extension built on to the left here, that's newer, with the metal roof that's connected to the water tower. But this building here, this small A-frame building made out of concrete and plaster, was built in the late 1800s. Now there's another historic jail on the square there. It was bigger. That was for white people. In the late 1800s, when that building was built, all these trees that you see around us, that's all there was here. So this was 2 blocks off the square in the woods. And that building actually holds 2 cells where dozens of black persons could be cleared for any offense. On suspicion alone, not much different than today. In 1920, news alerts went out during October 1920 about 2 young men who were arrested on suspicion of horse theft in Pilot Point. They were there about 24 hours. And then local press reports went out that the Klan had left a note on the door of the Pilot Point newspaper editor's office claiming that they had murdered those men. And sure enough, it took almost 24 hours for local authorities from the county to come check it out. And 24 hours later, they found evidence of their brutal whipping and lynching, but not their bodies. The Klan took clear responsibility for the murders. At the time, the local authorities initially said that the sheriff was too sick that day to come out and look into the situation. The local judge said he would have put someone on it, but the docket was just so full. Not a year later, the exact same thing happened. 2 black men. This time, no explanation for their arrest whatsoever. were taken out of the jail, beaten, hung in the woods right here. The Klan left a note on the door of the local newspaper officer, executive officer's door, taking responsibility, and nothing happened. And here this building still sits. It's empty inside. Did you guys know that last year there was a soil commemoration ceremony with the Equal Justice Initiative to honor those men? Of course not. We tried to get it in the news. We tried to get the city council people to make an event out of it. They weren't interested. Yet that building still stands there empty. Why? It's their monument. They know what it is. They know the history associated with it. But it's still there. Because it empowers them. They know the story, but they don't tell the story to the community, particularly Black community. So again, I'm not here today to make you mad with stories like this or to incite anything other than awareness. This history is available to you, and I wish I could tell you that this was the worst of it. It's a small smidgen what I'm offering you today. But it is out there and it is available if you look for it. You don't have to be a historian to find it. It's that prominent, it's that prevalent. If any of you have any questions and you'd like any suggestions on ways you can find more information, I'm happy to answer that. But I thought that while we're all out here and while you're encouraging your friends to come out and march with you and protest with you here in Pilot Point, perhaps we could offer some connections from the past to the present. They've been lynching Black people here for more than a century. You can say George Floyd's name, but there's a lot of Pilot Point names we can say too. One of them I'd like to give you is Ennis Johnson. He's one of the men who was young boys, who was removed from that jail cell and lynched 100 years ago. So if you want to shout his name, he needs to be remembered too, and his story needs to be told. Marvin Newberry. Yes, ma'am.
Right, all right.
So this is history. It's your history. It's right here. It exists everywhere. It's not a concept that we fight for. It's not an ideology that we fight for, right? Because it's right here in Denton. The history exists here in Pilot Point in Denton County. So I'll hand it over. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I appreciate Black leaders giving me the opportunity to share this history with you. And I would encourage you to look into the thesis coming out from Micah Crittenton and myself, Jessica Luther-Hummel, in the next month. We'll have full contextualized history. Both of us included those lynchings in our research, and you can learn more about the men and other activities that have gone on here.